This is Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. We are the #1 business show on the planet with over 1 million downloads a month. Taking the BS out of business for over 6 years and over 400 episodes. You ready to start snapping necks and cashing checks? Well, it starts right about now.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Right About Now. It is our weekly business news of the week here on September 27th, 2024. September's just blowing by, people. You gotta get ready. It's going by fast. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend in Miami, Chris Hansen. What's up, brother?
What's up, Ryan? How are you, bro?
I'm good. And of course, the lovely Brianna Hall.
Hey.
Hey. I used to do that. Like, some people a name, I go, hey. Hey. You know, like when a hot girl would walk by, hey. Get that? Hey. You know you did that, Chris.
Yeah, that was early 2000s for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
2004, I was in like 10th grade. Hey.
Yeah. I'm not doing too many heys anymore. My wife will walk by sometimes like, hey now.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl, hey.
There you go.
Oh, I hope everyone's doing well wherever you are, whenever you're listening, however you're watching. We appreciate you. Been a busy week. We've got, I guess, Hurricane Mageddon or whatever you want to call it going on.
Helene.
Yeah, Helene. Storms. All I know is this. On day of record, I had no power for almost 24 hours. In a modern world, with 4 minutes warning that a storm was even coming in, this will be before the storm from Florida comes up the coast or whatever. This is just a random thunderstorm in Greenville, South Carolina. I've been out without power for almost 24 hours. I'm calling bullshit on that.
It was rough getting to the office this morning.
Yeah.
I was driving over sticks and trees and big old rocks.
You had rocks blown all off the railroad tracks up there too.
Yeah.
Did you get anybody come through that? I was like, damn, I'm in my Audi with this. Like, need to be in my, my bike or something. It felt like a hurricane or a tornado had come through.
It looked like it. In downtown Greenville, there were trees down everywhere.
Yeah. Chris, are you buttoning down the hatches? Is that what they call it? Is that what we say?
Yeah, as much as I can. Not much I can do on the 30th floor of a condo, but just bring my
just take care of the vacate lounge for us, Yeah, make sure nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm as ready as I'll be. I mean, I've been through some hurricanes, but it's looking like it's going to be on the Gulf Coast, which I was literally just at. So I kind of hustled back to Miami, hoping to avoid getting stuck over there.
What's the latest forecast they're calling for with this hurricane?
USA Today has a Helene's explosive forecast, one of the most aggressive hurricanes in hurricane history. 70 knot increase in 72 hours. That was coming from Monday. It's an aggressive forecast for a good reason, trying to get ahead of possible intensification before it hits Florida. So they're trying to kind of sound the alarm bells, get that out.
I would like to get the alarm bell myself yesterday.
Yeah.
Like at 3 o'clock. Hey, you might get your power turned off. I would have gotten the gas. We had supplies brought in right before the episode. Our Instacart driver was bringing in the gas can and the batteries. I wish I had them yesterday. My generator was pumped for about 3 hours and then had no luck after that. But we're prepared now in case we get stuck again.
Yeah, so this is saying it's going to be a Category 3 hurricane at landfall with 115 mile per hour winds.
So wherever you are, just be ready. You're probably already ready if it's Friday for you, which it is. We record sometimes a day or two earlier, but no matter what, stay safe out there. We've got our emergency preparedness kit. It just showed up here in the office, so we'll be here ready in South Carolina for storm number 2 of the week. Hopefully my power's back on. We'll stay on and be safe rather than sorry. So we'll see where things go. You never know with the hurricanes. They get scary. I mean, if you don't prepare, it's like you're screwed. And then I can imagine it's frustrating down there in Miami, though, Chris, or in those areas, because you don't exactly know what's going to happen. And so you can prepare for the worst, then nothing happens. It's like, does it kind of drive you crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen these storms zigzag and cut 90-degree right angle. I remember specifically, we thought one year it was going to hit us. We were prepared. And then at last minute cut across the state. And you're kind of like, all right, well, That was a big excitement for nothing, but you don't know, right? Because then the places it does hit, it gets wrecked. So
I'm nervous.
I prepared. I got my water, filled up the gasoline. You know, like I said, I was in Sarasota County. They had closed, you know, pretty much the county early so people could prepare. I think Florida's got it pretty dialed in as far as like getting the power trucks ready. Like I feel like DeSantis has done a good job with making sure all the resources are where they need to be, God forbid.
It's my first storm season as an East Coast resident.
You traded earthquakes for hurricanes.
I don't think we ever had an actual noteworthy earthquake in my entire life. Like you'd be walking and you'd be like, "Oh, that was weird. What was that? A little jolt."
Shaking.
Yeah.
My sister just had her first one in LA like 2 weeks ago.
I don't want anything to do with that.
I think she felt more scared. I think she was scarier for her than a hurricane. Because at least a hurricane, you kind of like mentally prepare for. You know it's coming. You're not just like waking up to your house shaking.
Yeah. Exactly. That shake just comes out of nowhere. I felt it in South Carolina before, actually. Actually on my boat, which was weird.
Wow.
Interesting.
And sure enough, there was. Like I was not sure. It was really quick, and then I read the next day that there had been one in that area.
So interesting.
Like really minimal, but strange nonetheless. So you never know with these natural disasters. I will say I'm gonna give a shout out to my boys, 1,000 Horses. Went to their concert on Sunday. I got the concert gear on. Just gotta support the guys. Best Southern rock country band you want to see. Go support them. They're actually on a little mini tour here. So go give them some love if they come in your county. Look them up. 1,000 Horses. Great rock band, country rock, whatever you want to call it. It's just good music. I'll tell you what's not good music.
I was going to say, speaking of music.
Oh, Diddy. Oh, Diddy.
Bad boy. Bad boy entertainment.
Some of the shit that he's accused of is not funny, but it is.
No, it's foul.
I'm sorry. You know, maybe it's the 14-year-old boy in me, but I don't know, thousands of bottles of baby oil or whatever. I mean, that alone is not a crime, I hope.
I wonder if he bought stock in baby oil companies.
Who knows, man? How much baby oil you need?
All right.
A little bit goes a long way. So I've been told. Chris told me that.
Chris told me that.
He's down there in Miami. He got all that baby oil.
Yeah, never been to a Diddy party.
No,
so.
But on all the parties in Miami, baby oiled up. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah. You got to put the oil on.
I assume so.
Sean Diddy Combs jailed by judge after sex trafficking indictment. So this comes to us from AP News. Sean Diddy Combs. So did he drop the P off of his name?
Yeah.
It's just Diddy now?
It's just Diddy.
Okay. Thought it was P. Diddy. Headed to jail to await trial in a federal sex trafficking case that accuses him of presiding over sordid empire of sexual crimes. He's accused of a lot of different things, including female victims, male sex workers, people drugged up in the studio. A conviction of every charge against him would equate to at least 15 years in prison with the possibility of a life sentence. And it says this indictment describes Combs as the head of a criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice.
Look, there's no tolerance for 85% of what you just said. But doesn't it feel like when you hear that though out loud of what you would think crazy, crazy Hollywood parties would include 80% of that?
Yeah.
And let's throw out the trafficking and all that stuff. But let's just say, okay, prostitutes and drugs, alcohol, and going way overboard. Okay, sounds like a Hollywood crazy party that happens every weekend probably. But then it's just where do you cross that line? At what point, if you're Diddy, okay, he's a mogul, man. You got everything in the world, all the money, all the girls, you got family, you got kids now, you've made a lot of hits, you've made hits for other people. When does your appetite for this stuff just cross over to where I can't be satisfied with just a normal Hollywood party with drugs and alcohol and maybe some people getting naked because they want to, but not because they're forced. When do you go, I can only get off or be satisfied by the extreme of the extreme? Is it like insatiable appetite, or is it just insatiable ego? Like that you can do it? I don't know where does that flip?
I think power is the most powerful drug there is. And people like him, I feel like it's just about controlling people more than even the money.
I just could see. I mean, he calls Big Perm, hey, get the baby oil ready. I need 400 bottles tonight.
We're having a freak off, baby.
P. Diddy's worth $600 million. To your point, yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. He's set.
Yeah.
So you want to cross that line into creating potentially, allegedly, these crimes that are unacceptable. But damn, just you can have fun. I mean, these people, it's like you can do about anything you want, but it's gotta get to this criminal level. I don't know. Someone with psychology would have to explain that a little more to me.
I think that there will be some interesting theories that come out about this, and
the list of people that's probably, how many people are shaking in their boots right now, going, "Oh shit!" Like 10 years ago, when they were coming up and they were sort of famous, or they're like, "Damn, I was at that party and felt fun at the time," but.
And there's been stories for years of these parties. You've had artists talk about this stuff, but it was almost like laughed off because he was such a mogul. He had so much
laughed
influence.
off because it's like, he throws the best parties. Okay. It's a big Hollywood party.
Now it's like everyone's looking back at anyone that's ever been to those parties kind of suspect.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where like Hollywood's kind of always been known for, like, if you look at Hugh Hefner, you look at all these people who bring in young, beautiful people and promise them, all the riches in the world if they do certain things, or if they look a certain way, or if they act a certain way. And now it's like, well, at what point does that person become a victim of you if you are a powerful person?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, when that line of influence and promises of opportunity crossed, like, just a couple more bottles of baby oil and I'll make you famous.
Straight up.
I can't get off the baby oil thing. It's just, it was something godly, like 500 cases or something.
It was something ridiculous. Let me see if I can find it.
He bought out Costco. Sounds like.
Johnson & Johnson, he owns stock. That's Johnson & Johnson baby oil.
1,000 bottles of baby oil and freak offs. What's a freak off?
That's the name of the parties.
That was their big orgies, their sex parties.
I know. This doesn't have anything to do with business, but it was just it's freaking P. Diddy. And it's like, probably has something to do with business, actually.
It's hard to avoid it.
Maybe the perils of business, of like excess.
Oh, we just like to pour it on people.
Yeah.
Oh. Like a funny party prank. Just screwed you with baby oil.
It's pain
Take
ass
your clothes off now.
I don't know.
Come on. Chris, I mean, you and I don't have enough hair to probably worry about, but like, I don't know. Is it pain to get out of your hair? Surely you've gotten baby oil or something of the equivalent in your hair, Brianna.
I plead the fifth on this.
Okay. It's about like laying out in the sun. I mean, my sister used to use baby oil like when she'd lay out at the pool like 20 years ago.
Listen, it's hard to get anything out of your hair.
Fried.
Like any kind of oil, any kind of substance. Just gotta scrub it out.
I wasn't trying to make you go there. I was more just like when you're laying out, like using some type of lotion or something. I can see my wife complaining about it.
I mean, yeah, it's annoying getting anything stuck in your hair for sure. Yes, well, thankfully, the world is turning a corner and we are really utilizing AI. So maybe one day we won't even have celebrities that can purchase 1,000 bottles of baby oil, because we'll have these AI generated influencers, virtual influencers. They're gaining traction. They have like millions of followers. Have you guys seen these?
I have.
Yeah.
I think.
They're completely robotic influencers.
Yeah. I've seen like fake, like they look like models, but it's all AI generated.
Exactly. And they can do brand deals, and they post as if it's like really them, like a real person. I saw one this morning and she was talking about her birthday. And then her bio says a robot living in California.
Weird.
If I'm one of the platforms, you're going to, I think, reach this point where people are going to want to know what's real and what's fake. Yeah. I'd almost think it's bad for business. If I'm Zuck, I'm probably just saying there's no fake profiles. Even if you describe it as that. Are we real people or are we not? Is this social media for living humans, or is this social media for robots? If you're influencing a robot, a robot's being programmed to say what you want about your product. That's not true influence.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, and I get that there's a transaction for money for influence sometimes, and it's not 100% organic. But at least there's some amount of trade between a human on the other end of the company paying the other human on the other end.
Well, and I think it goes back to, and you guys can probably both attest to this, I'd like to hear both your perspectives, but being an influencer and deciding where you take your personal brand and what opportunities, brand partnerships you believe in and are willing to take on versus a robot that could take on anything, where you guys are going to curate what makes sense for you to partner with.
Felicia the robot's taking offense to that because she's a nature only Felicia robot that only does natural things. You know they're going to come out with that too. Like you're going to have an AI that says, I am an artificial intelligence, but I stand for X and I only work with Y. I mean, it's probably already out there, right?
I mean, I think it's part of business news, specifically in regards to some different things. So Yahoo Finance had this article, Amazon launches AI-powered video ad generator ahead of the holidays. So in summary, you can use Amazon's new AI tool to automate video ad creation, enabling brands to convert product images into video ads. So that would target advertisers looking to streamline campaign production, especially for smaller brands. So basically, it significantly reduces the time required to produce a video ad, and it could take it just from an image and turn it into a video. Cool, I guess, if you're a business and you're on Amazon and you want to sell more product. Not great for digital ad agencies.
Maybe. I don't know. I think there's an in-between point, and there's always going to be
I can build a website on my own, but an ad agency can probably do it better.
And then AI can do it a third version.
Yeah. So
right. It's more about the ad agencies learning
I
the
have
AI
yet
tools.
to see the AI come up with the creative ideas that sort of drive the best campaigns.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we won't one day, but there's usually a human insight, an emotional insight that I haven't seen, that I feel like's usually missing from even like ChatGPT copy and different things like that. And even this, and that doesn't mean it won't be there one day. But I think you're going to see this fine line of, I don't know, people are going to revolt against the unreal. I
sure hope so.
I saw a video this morning. A guy, he's a developer with the blockchain, the Bitcoin type stuff in Web 5, right? We're talking Web 3, he's talking Web 5. But he was talking about right now on most of these social media platforms, you'd be shocked at how many of the profiles are interacting with their bots. And that's the big, like what you said is, how do we even know we're interacting with a real person and not just a bot?
I think there's too many platforms. You don't want another one. But I think if Zuck or whoever doesn't get these under control, that's where I think they could get taken out, is where you have to be 100% verified as a real person, like a human being.
Elon's talked about doing it with X. I thought it was already getting done, but it's not, because this guy's prime example actually was X.
I still think there's a fine line here that we're seemingly starting to cross, and I think you'll start to see some pushback on that. And I don't know. I can't help but think that there will come a reckoning for all this. And it's not going to be, I don't think this is just going to continue unabated, so to speak. No. So
I almost think you're going to have like the naturalists and then the tech.
I feel like there's a movie somewhere about that, right? Like,
I totally agree.
You know, it's like, we only want to deal with only real.
So Forbes Online has a article from earlier in the year. It says the future of trust and verification for social media platforms. So this is saying in recent years, public trust in the media has plummeted to unprecedented lows. There's a bot dilemma, eroding trust and spreading misinformation. And then there's a case for introducing human verification for social media users. Human verification involves confirming that a real person and not an automated bot operates a social media account. So it's going to be like biometric verification to prove you're human.
I think you're going to see that.
Which is good, except you lose your anonymity.
Well, good. And I mean, shouldn't that be happening anyway on some level?
Yeah, some people need to be exposed.
Yeah. You get rid of a lot of trolls if they actually had to say who they were.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Speaking of, I would love to get your guys' perspective on our next article. Let's talk a little bit about Alex Jones and Infowars.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
So a judge ordered that they're going to liquidate Alex Jones's Infowars business. Anything that has to do with Infowars, all the assets are being auctioned off to help settle the $1 billion settlement that is owed to the Sandy Hook families. So accountability and media influence. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, one, this guy lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get behind these conspiracy theories, but like, why did he fall on the sword for this?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, do you have an opinion about that?
I think it's interesting for someone that didn't fire a bullet to have to do this.
Yeah, but he said it was all a hoax, right? Over and over and over again.
Right. And to be fair, though, then why is CNN, Fox, MSNBC, why are they all not getting liquidated to pay out in damages? And they have had to pay out in certain situations. I happen to like Alex Jones. I think he's been ahead of the game on a lot of stuff. He obviously missed it with this one. Big miss, but I don't think it detracts from like he's educated a lot of people, especially with the COVID stuff way ahead what was going on. So it's not, my problem isn't really with him. It's more of, all right, if we're going to have this precedence, it needs to apply to all media outlets, not just targeted towards.
That I agree with. So we can all agree that it shouldn't, if this is going to be the law, if this is the accountability that we're going to have for media journalism, that it needs to be universal.
Yeah.
And I just personally wouldn't put my millions of dollars in assets on the line for an opinion that, even if he still believes it to this day wrongly, is so polarizing and so like, you're talking about kids, you're talking about people getting killed. Why do you want to put your whole reputation on the line for that?
When you don't 100% know, like Chris said, you weren't the shooter, so it's interesting to have to be this responsible for it. But I don't know, I feel like you can't go 100% all in. You can say, I have this thought, here's a side of the coin, here's one perspective to look at. There's all sorts of ways to voice that and to have your right to freedom of speech without, according to this, a jury and a judge found out that he broke the law and are holding him accountable.
But I do agree with Chris. Like, if this is the standard, then let's apply it. Because we all know, we even talked about the hypocrisy of media and some of the things that they get away with saying and doing with really no accountability whatsoever.
Yep.
It's like the million things they've said about Trump, and maybe they got right 30% of it. I don't know but what about the other 70%? It's like, just okay. It's part of it. And I get that this is a very sensitive topic versus one man that half the country doesn't like, but it still doesn't make it okay. So there needs to be a standard for media accountability or not. And everybody can have opinions. We have opinions. We're sharing opinions on this show. But I don't know. I'm just not going to personally feel compelled to want to use my best guess on things of that nature. Me personally.
Yeah. In just honoring Sandy Hook and the 21st graders and 6 educators who were killed in the Newtown, Connecticut shooting back when that happened. Thoughts and prayers always with those families.
And the problem is, last thing I'll say is, Alex has done, I do think he's enlightened and done a lot of things, but you lose all that fucking credibility. Like on, again, taking a stand on something like this. So like you've built this reputation, you've done these things. And so if I don't want to think Alex is doing it for the shtick himself, then don't fall on your sword for something that would be so outlandish that it almost seems like you were. We got to paint with that same brush too. Because I see the same thing. It's like, yeah, I've shared my political views, but I get on Fox and I'm like, God damn, like it's just wearing out these conspiracies. And it's like over and over. And it's like the stuff that's so obvious that I see with my own eyes that I support. I'm like, okay, I get it. But then they go down these rabbit holes too. I'm just like, this is just so partisan.
I think it's a good, like, I love hearing your stance because you're such an independent thinker. You really are the kind of person that like has both sides, and I'm a little bit more conspiracy minded. Like I will go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole gladly any day of the week. And I think it's just interesting to hear that from you, Ryan, from a business standpoint. Being independent and thinking kind of through that lens is really healthy.
It is. That's why I'm proud to sponsor Independent Center. I am independent. Like I do not claim to be one or the other. I vote with common sense and my business mind, my moral values. And I've shared where that is, but independentcenter.org, go check them out. All the information. It's about policies, it's about information, and it's about having dialogue, and it's not about partisan politics. I encourage you to go check that out. Sign up for their newsletter. You'll get information, learn about the policies, learn about what the dialogue needs to be about, which is ultimately the impact it's having to the bottom line for businesses, for people, and to be able to have a dialogue where we're not just immediately starting with partisan discussion about left, right, otherwise. And look, no matter where my beliefs and things fall, I'm not voting with a red or a blue pen. I'm voting with what I believe to be right for my family. And I do support Independent Center. Go check them out. Official sponsor of Right About Now. IndependentCenter.org. We'll have a link in my bio as well and on the show.
Speaking of business, our next article that I'm going to read comes to us from apnews.com. This is interesting. It is a Biden administration recent law that's come into effect, and it is a change to non-compete and overtime pay for U.S. workers. So the FTC made a decision to ban non-compete agreements, which is super interesting from business and as a business owner for you guys, labor laws, economic regulation. So what do you guys think about this, banning non-compete agreements for U.S. workers?
Chris, I'll let you start on this.
We use non-competes in my medical business for our salespeople, obviously. When this came up, we talked about it. It's not fully applying. Like if someone works for me and they switch companies and literally go steal our business, you can still go after them, which is reasonable.
Absolutely.
Right? However, and I'll be fair, I've been on the other side. When I left my first career medical job, they hit me with some legal paperwork trying to threaten me. I remember I was 26 and I'm like, screw you guys. Like I'm just some young college kid trying to make it. And they were threatening me with complete false information anyway. So that's when I kind of forgot my first taste of corporate bullying, right? So I'm on both sides. I think there's a middle ground here, but obviously in my main business, we do utilize non-competes and we'll continue to do so legally.
I see both sides of this. And I mean, as a business owner, I think you can protect yourself. Like Chris said, I mean, if someone is working for you and they leave and they take trade secrets and they do things, whether they sign a non-compete or not, you can take them to court.
Yeah.
And so you can still get done what you need from a business standpoint, which is all that ultimately matters. But I do think, as I've been the employee, I was an employee for 16 years of my career. I've been an entrepreneur for 7 or 8 now. So I've been longer an employee than an entrepreneur. So I don't discount both sides of it. And I've had to sign them as an employee, especially working in the ad agency business, was highly competitive. And didn't love parts of it, but now being a business owner, I do understand that you spend a lot of time, money, sweat, energy developing practices, ways of doing business, intellectual property. And for that just to be thrown out completely it didn't sit well with me that there is just, I just don't think it's an all or nothing discussion.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if we want to change the length of time, if we want to change some of the language to make it maybe more fair, maybe it was too far one way or the other, but I just think just to pretend or make anyone think that doesn't still exist, the right to having competitive advantages or having things that you've built and invested in, and that people could just take that or walk with that in some way. The implication that you could isn't the right implication either.
Yeah, and that's kind of just like how the media, right? It's a clickbaity title. Oh yeah, there's no non-competes anymore. U.S. Chamber of Commerce has already filed a lawsuit against the FTC, calling its decision a dangerous precedent for government micromanagement of business. Lawsuits could delay any implementation of the FTC's new rule potentially for years. So something to just kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, we'll see.
New overtime rules, it's in that same article. So both the non-compete and the overtime rules are in there. So starting July 1st of 2025, you would have to pay overtime to salaried employees that work over 40 hours a week. Crazy. But there's an income cap. So only for...
And hey, if you vote for Trump, there'll be no tax on that overtime.
Crazy.
But maybe I think Kamala's already copied that. So maybe no matter who you vote for, you'll get it.
Yeah.
I think one you'll actually get it. One will tell you and they won't actually do it. If I had to look at the history.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. What happened to those student loan forgiveness?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
All right. I think that's about it for me.
Oh, yes. Any final thoughts, Chris?
I'm just ready for this election to be over with, honestly.
I have election fatigue. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like it's, as soon as it's over, it starts over. It's like, I don't know.
The campaigning never stops. The theater must go on.
Right. It is theater.
I'm just looking forward to hoping that my ideal candidate goes into office so I can start spending money more freely.
Yeah, exactly.
Preach.
Yeah. So we'll see if you get your wish. We appreciate you for listening. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. I mean, we got all these nice cameras. Chris looks so nice in the vacay lounge. Don't make it all go to waste and just be listening. When you can look at how pretty Brianna is over there. You know, we needed to beautify the set a little bit here. So Chris and I do our best, even though my 1,000 Horses t-shirt is rocking today. Bandit. Was it a groupie? I'm a groupie today.
You're a groupie.
Yes. You know where to find us, ryanisright.com. You'll find links to the show, all the other links to different places to watch, listen, share, highlight clips, and links to Radical, our ad agency. The Radcast Network has all our other great shows. And, of course, links to the beautiful, the wonderful, the Mr. Chris Broby Hansen on Instagram. Go find him where that blue check is. And, girls, he's taken right now.
Off market.
Sort of. Nah. Nah. He's got a good one. We appreciate you. I appreciate both of you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. All right about now.
This has been Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. Visit ryanisright.com for full audio and video versions of the show or to inquire about sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.